Who are we talking to?
Ourselves.
And welcome back to Marvelous March, this series where, for the entire month of March, we are going to be talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Woohoo!
Justin is thrilled.
Yeah.
I think we're all thrilled. We all like the Marvel movies.
Yes.
Tonight we are talking about a god and a monster.
We are going to be talking about the Incredible Hulk and Thor Odinson.
I didn't think Thor was that big of a monster.
Well, he can be a monster. Especially in Loki's eyes.
No, Loki calls him a dull creature.
Which is still a monster.
Yes, and then Hulk proceeds to bash him into the ground.
Oblivion, yes. So why don't we start off with the Incredible Hulk?
Okay.
So we're going to be talking about the Incredible Hulk movie, which came out in 2008. This was a reboot/remake/sequel to the 2003 Hulk movie. Which, to be honest, I did not like that film at all. I thought it was boring. The effects were really bad. The only good part about it was Sam Elliott.
Accurate.
Yeah. And believe it or not, this is the second MCU film, and it was released the same year as Iron Man.
Iron Man did much better at the box office, though.
Yes, it did. So the Hulk was created by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Paul Ryman. It debuted in The Incredible Hulk #1 in 1962. Lee has stated that the Hulk's creation was inspired by a combination of Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. No duh.
Question for the trivia nerds out there. Does anybody here besides me know Hulk's original color?
Actually, I was about to get into that. It was gray.
And why was it gray?
Stan Lee said he originally chose gray for the Hulk because he wanted a color that did not suggest any ethnic group. However, the colorist at the time, Stan Goldberg, had problems with the gray coloring. He could not get it quite right. So in the first couple issues, the Hulk was actually different shades of gray or even green. To fix this problem, Lee chose decided to change the color of the Hulk to green, and it stuck.
Huh. I would have just gone with it makes it easier on the printer.
That too.
That too. Funnily enough, the Gray Hulk is actually another personality of the Hulk called Joe Fixit. He's a much more violent Hulk in Bruce's mind. So.
It's not easy being gray.
No, it is not. For the Incredible Hulk film, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, played by William Hurt, meets up with Bruce Banner, played by Edward Norton this time, and his girlfriend, Betty Ross, played by Liv Tyler. Just another cast member from Lord of the Rings into the MCU.
Yeah, just at the end of Marvelous March week, we're going to have to come back and highlight how many people are in Marvel movies who also make cameos in Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit.
Yes. They meet up to perform an experiment to make humans immune to gamma radiation. In actuality, this is Ross's attempt to recreate the super soldier serum, which actually created Captain America back during World War II.
And needless to say, it backfires spectacularly.
Yeah. It fails, and Bruce Banner is exposed to a massive amount of gamma radiation, transforming him into the Hulk. Hulk smash. Years later, Bruce is on the run, but he is captured once again by Ross and his second-in-command, Emil Blonsky, played by Tim Roth. However, getting royally defeated by the Hulk, Emil convinces Ross to use the same experiment that he did on Banner on him for Blonsky to become another gamma-radiated monster called the Abomination.
Because, of course, we already have one
that you can't control.
Uncontrollable monster. What's another one?
Obviously, the Abomination is the worst of the two, goes on a rampage, and Ross regrettably asks the Hulk to stop him.
You know, there's a similar problem that happens in the Venom series as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Lazy writing.
Well, we can't really say that Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross is a smart man.
That is just a lot of words for a name.
Yep. So obviously this movie is significant for a bunch of different reasons, but it's
Tad, isn't it?
I don't know.
What?
Keep talking.
Edward Norton plays the Hulk only in this film. He is then replaced by Mark Ruffalo from this point on.
Now, do we know why he was replaced?
Main reason is that Edward Norton is a control freak and wanted to have a huge hand in production, and Kevin Feige said, no, back off. And he's like, all right then, I'm out.
I'm sorry, but the irony that the guy who would be playing Bruce Banner is a control freak is not lost on me.
Well, Edward Norton has a history of wanting to be involved in every aspect of the film.
But Bruce Banner is a control freak.
Oh, yeah. Well, he kind of has to be when you have another voice inside of you saying, I want to smash at every given opportunity.
There is something worth noting that there are other Hulks in Marvel.
Yes.
There's She-Hulk, there's...
Red Hulk.
Hulk, Bruce Banner, is the only one who seems to have the different personalities.
The duality of man.
Yes.
So I think that's just a him problem.
It is.
Well, that's how it ties into the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde storyline.
Which, by the way, Dr. Jekyll didn't have a second personality. The real twist of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is that there was no second personality.
Yeah, the whole idea was that you could separate a gentleman from the madness and the monster within and create the perfect gentleman. There is no such thing. Sorry, girls everywhere, spoiler, there is no such thing.
Anyway, what I was saying was, in the actual book, there is no separation. When he is Dr. Jekyll, he acts like he should, and when he's Mr. Hyde, he acts as freely as he wants to be.
Yeah.
But the terror for him is that eventually the potion he took, it becomes permanent. He can't switch back to being Dr. Jekyll, and he has to live with everything that he's done. And so instead of doing that, he just kills himself. So, yeah.
Whereas in the Hulk, funnily enough, if you go back way back, the Hulk is actually Bruce Banner's imaginary friend personified because he created this imaginary friend to deal with the trauma of his abusive father.
Happy, wholesome stories!
Yes.
That explains a lot.
So, like I said, though, in this film, Bruce Banner and the Hulk is played by Edward Norton, and then after this film, he's replaced by Mark Ruffalo. Which one do you guys prefer, Norton or Ruffalo?
Just because he's done the most personifications of the Hulk, I would have to say Ruffalo. Ruffalo came on as the Hulk when we started the Avengers. Mm-hmm. He has done the Avengers movies, the Thor movies. I mean, he hasn't gotten his own Hulk movie, but he even made an appearance in She-Hulk.
Yeah, well, the reason why he never got another Hulk film after this one was because...
we were too busy moving forward with the plot.
Well, also, Universal still owned the rights to distribute the Hulk movies, and Marvel did not get those rights until after Avengers Endgame. So
Universal and Marvel have a weird...
Yeah, we'll have to do another episode where we talk about that. But anyway,
Colin, Norton, or Ruffalo?
Yeah,
Ruffalo.
Okay. And also, I think it's, at least in my opinion, I think this is kind of safe to say that The Incredible Hulk is probably the weakest out of the entire Phase 1 of the MCU.
That's fair. Not weak as in...
Not weak as in character.
strength-wise.
I'm talking about weak as in a film.
Oh, okay, yes. That is correct. I'm sitting over here going... I'm sorry.
We are not here saying strongest Avenger
I'm sorry.
is
The
the weak
character
one.
who gets stronger the more angry he gets?
No.
And he's a constant rage monster?
I'm talking about the film itself. It's the weakest out of the entire Phase 1 of the MCU.
And that, boys and girls, is the importance of context.
Yes, but do you guys agree or do you disagree?
Yeah.
I would say that's probably a fair assessment.
I would also say that the MCU version of Hulk is weaker than the comic version of Hulk.
Oh yeah, most. Well, unfortunately, with this stuff, you kind of have to scale back the power of like these characters like the Hulk and Superman and stuff like that, you kind of have to scale back their powers to make it fit into the universe a little bit. So
They fit in the comic verse. Just bring that to the screen.
Budget.
Yeah, budget and the fact that comics are weird.
I'm sorry. How much money do they make a year?
Yeah, that's the point.
Recently, they have not made that much money.
Although a bad thing about Ruffalo, which is the same bad thing we have about Tom Holland, we have to lock him in a basement to keep him from spilling secrets.
Yeah, Ruffalo.
Man can't keep a secret.
Yeah, Ruffalo actually notably had his phone on during a reading of Infinity War. So yeah, the Kevin Feige and the heads of Marvel Studios have to keep him.
Him
under
and
lock
Tom
key.
just lock him in a basement.
Yeah. So now the Hulk is kind of a unique character in the MCU because this is his only solo film, like we mentioned before, and his character development, much like Black Widow and Hawkeye, is kind of shown throughout the other movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's from, like you said, it's shown in Avengers, it's shown in Thor, and in She-Hulk, which, to be honest, you can skip She-Hulk. It's not very good. But with all that being said, though, which film do you think kind of personifies Hulk the best in terms of character development?
Well, that's a trick question.
Okay.
Because
Okay, so then...
which personification of Hulk are you wanting? Are you wanting Professor Hulk? Are you wanting pure rage monster Hulk? Are you wanting happy, medium, middle of the road Hulk?
All right, then you know what? Let's just go ahead and go through his character development right quick. So in Avengers, he's dealing with the events of the Incredible Hulk, but he also becomes really fast friends with Tony Stark, and he becomes a member of the Avengers.
Banner is a broken little puppy.
Yes.
And I'm a huge fan of how you turn into a giant rage monster.
You rented out my room.
Yeah. Yeah. And then in Age of Ultron, we find out that he and Black Widow are dating-ish? Or they have a crush on each
There's a
other?
flirtation.
I've seen her flirt. Up close. This is the real thing. What do you mean up close?
No, my line for Hulk for Age of Ultron was going to be, "Oh, we're way past mad. I could choke you out right now and not turn a shade of green."
Yeah, so in Age of Ultron, the Scarlet Witch messes with everybody's mind to the point, and especially Hulk's mind, to the point where Hulk actually goes on a rampage and destroys a lot of South Africa. And that's actually the first time that he's actually hulked out in years, according to Banner.
And, well, it's the first time he hulks out without meaning to.
Yes.
Because at this point, he and Natasha have developed a system for releasing the Hulk when needed and reining him back in when not needed.
But this time, there was no stopping the Hulk until Tony busts out his Hulkbuster armor and essentially knocks him out.
Even then, it was a hard fight.
Which was the funniest
Go to
fight
sleep,
ever.
go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to
Come
sleep,
on,
go to
Bruce!
sleep, go to
Come
sleep.
on, Bruce! You gotta work with me here. Boom!
Throws him across the country.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Knocks out one of the Hulk's teeth, and the Hulk just gives him the look, and he's like, "I'm sorry."
And then he gets his butt kicked.
Yes.
And
So that one is very much, we see more of the rage Hulk.
Yeah.
But also, this is where we really start to see Hulk's... just Hulk
Duality.
dealing with what happened, because not only did Bruce get his mind messed with,
Hulk got his
mind messed
Yeah.
with, and he's the one who decides not to go back.
Yeah, he eventually leaves Earth to go on to Sakaar.
Which brings us to the events of Thor Ragnarok.
We'll go over this in more detail when we discuss
But-
Ragnarok, but...
Thor Ragnarok does highlight the first, really, it is Hulk, not Banner. It is just a Hulk movie. It is
Hulk's
Hulk.
movie.
Banner is, usually in the movies it's 80% Banner, 20% Hulk. This is 80% Hulk, 20% Banner.
Yes.
And Hulk is living his best life.
And he is.
Yes.
He's a champion. He is celebrated. He's found his people. He's got a new crush. Case in point, let's just pointing this out. Hulk is attracted to strong women.
Yep. So
Natasha, Valkyrie.
Mhm.
He's attracted to strong. He's got a type.
Yep. Now, this story takes elements from the comic story Planet Hulk, where essentially the same thing happens. However, he goes onto Sakaar not by his own free will, but because the Illuminati, who is founded by Professor X, Namor the Submariner, Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, and Black Bolt from the Inhumans, decide to send the Hulk into space because they don't want to deal with him on Earth anymore.
But in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is what we're talking about,
Yes, the Hulk decides to go on...
crash lands on Sakaar.
Yeah.
And he is found
by
the Grand Master.
Yes.
Played by Jeff Goldblum.
Who is a great character, by the way. I mean, he's just Jeff Goldblum at his Jeff Goldblumiest.
How do you know you've made it in Hollywood? Your name can be used as a noun and an adjective.
And
a verb?
Yes.
Yeah.
But on Sakaar, he's found by Thor, and then they bring him back to help stop Ragnarok. And then Infinity War is where...
La 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 la. We're not talking about it.
Well, essentially, this is where Hulk is dealt his... Well, not really first, but his first and worst loss ever.
Yeah. It's the only... And we see Hulk scared.
Yeah.
Nothing scares the Hulk. So to see an entity that scares the Hulk, that's how you know it's a bad guy. It's like the green guy is afraid to come out. You're bad.
And keep this in mind, Thanos beat the Hulk without the Power Stone.
And the theories from Infinity War, such as all the commercials and ads showed Hulk fighting with the Avengers, but in the actual movie,
No.
Banner is in a suit.
Kevin Feige, let's talk about that.
You lie.
And so everyone's like, maybe it's Loki. Maybe he's disguised as Banner, and that's why he's in a suit. And it's like, the weird things people tried to come with to explain why the change.
By the way, the best there's a lot of great scenes in the first Avengers movie, but the one that everyone laughs out loud at still to this day is like, when Hulk confronts Loki, he's like, I am a god, you dull creature, and I'll not be bullied by and Thor and
bang, 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 turns, walks away. Puny god.
And then you just hear Loki.
Although
Best scene in the movie.
I will say, that was a funny part in Infinity War where he goes, come on, turn green. No! What do you mean, no?
Yeah, and that's actually the first time we see Banner arguing with Hulk.
Yeah.
Because that's probably the first time in the movies that we see them actually having a conversation with each other.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a nice feature.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, I was also going to point out that the two of the best lines of the first Avengers movie both have to deal with someone making a joke about Asgardians not really being gods.
Yeah.
There's Hulk with Loki for puny god, and then there's the first time we meet Thor, and Black Widow's like, they're basically gods. There's only one god, ma'am, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't look like that.
No, I would argue, does mother know you weareth her drapes?
No. Listen. I'm listening.
Or no, who are we dealing with?
Shakespeare in the Park?
Anyway, back to Hulk though for a minute. And then,
we'll come back to this in a moment.
And then in Avengers Endgame, we actually see the Hulk and Bruce Banner finally come together in Professor Hulk.
And having tacos.
And breakfast. And
which is nice, but it feels to the audience like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, like we skipped the whole thing.
Now, there was supposedly a deleted scene in Avengers Infinity War where they actually make, Banner and the Hulk resolve their differences and become Professor Hulk, but we never get to see it.
Did they make them wear a sharing shirt?
No. And then in She-Hulk, it is revealed that Jennifer Walters, Bruce's cousin, becomes the Hulk. It becomes her version, which is She-Hulk, from a car accident where Bruce Banner's blood gets infused with her own, and she becomes her own version of the Hulk. However, she actually stays in that form full time and retains her full mental faculties over the She-Hulk form.
Which when
makes
I have not watched a lot of She-Hulk, it's not my taste, but you can tell that there's a not so subtle, not like the reason they did that was to make a not so subtle nod about a woman's ability to control her temper and her feelings over that of a man.
Yeah, which is really insulting when you factor in all the stuff that Bruce Banner had to deal with in his life. You know, from being abused as a child from his father to pretty much being wanted by your girlfriend's father from an experiment that he created, and then just essentially living on the run.
Throwing this out there, Bruce. Stop going after powerful women who with access to deadly weapons. Maybe pick a nice girl named Debbie, works in accounting.
Now, I think that She-Hulk could have worked out if they actually worked harder on it.
Yeah, I don't.
Because if you really thought this character was going to be the next step for
Hulk.
Let's be honest, replacing the Hulk.
Yeah.
If you really thought she was the next step, why did you just give her a TV show? Give her a movie.
Because
put her on the big screen.
Money.
Yeah, Disney was turning out a lot of Disney Plus Marvel shows.
And some of them are good.
Some of them are good. Daredevil Born Again is fantastic.
Agatha All Alone.
Loki
along,
was great.
blah, blah.
Loki was fantastic.
Yeah, Loki got 2 seasons.
WandaVision was great.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like...
But then you had some that were just like, eh.
I mean, the what if stuff is interesting.
The first season was good.
Part was like, okay, so you do know how to do animation. Why aren't you just animating?
Yeah, but anyway, so that's essentially Hulk's story in the MCU in a nutshell.
Yep.
So now coming out of something else I do want to point out is, well, you mentioned that Bruce has an attraction to strong women. The relationship with Black Widow definitely came out of nowhere. Like, all of a sudden we're in Age of Ultron and then bam, they're flirting together. It's like we had no build up for it.
Really?
Okay, make your point.
Okay, I'll make my point. So when we're recruiting Hulk for the Avengers, who do they send?
They sent Natasha.
They didn't send Coulson.
No,
I'm just saying,
they sent him to
Banner
go after
has
his
a type,
fanboy.
and it's well documented. Okay? And let's, for the sake of honesty and transparency, this is not the first time that Natasha uses her powers of feminine persuasion. She is a Black Widow, so to speak. Okay? But she secludes him. She starts talking to him. She builds a rapport. They get on the helicraft. Everything's happening. There's a lot of moments where Tony is talking to the room, or Captain America is talking to the room, or even Nick Fury's talking to the room. And if you notice the people in the background, the secondary, because let's be honest, Iron Man and Captain America are the first wave Avengers. Mm-hmm. Everybody else in the main cast is kind of on the back burner at this point because we haven't gotten to spend as much time with them.
Yeah, well, and Iron Man and Captain America are essentially the leaders of the team.
Yeah, but if you look in the backgrounds, like when everyone else is kind of looking around the room looking for what are we supposed to do, Banner and Natasha almost always look at each other. They have an unspoken little conversation going on. And then when the beam falls, almost knocks her unconscious, almost knocks Bruce unconscious, and he starts hulking out on the helicarrier. Worst place to hulk out, by the way, because you're how far up in the sky?
At least, I think 5,000 feet up.
Yeah, worst place to have a Hulk episode. But what does she do? Does she automatically start fighting him and trying to kill him? No, she starts trying to talk to him and rationalize it and be like, we're going to make it through this. We are going to do this. I promise you on my life. And that's when the Hulk comes out and all this. But there's a brief moment, fraction of a second once he hulks out. The Hulk doesn't immediately go to kill her. He lets her start running. He gets her like a 5-second head start.
Sweet.
Now, I'm not done.
Meh.
I am not done.
Okay.
Okay? I am still in one movie here, okay? I'm not done. Then we have the Battle of New York. Okay? He hulks out. I don't see how that's a party. We're having the big, big battle. He's doing her thing. She's doing his thing. But before we do all that, when he hulks out originally, before we go into the battle, Hulk smiles because he's excited for the fight.
Yeah.
And when they're done, and Tony is lying there on the floor, and we basically have to give him Hulk CPR, Hulk doesn't go after her. Hulk doesn't attack her. So my thing is, Banner is attracted to her. Hulk sees her as like an apex predator. It's like a predator sizing up another predator. He's not quite sure what he wants to do with it, but he knows that it's dangerous. I like dangerous things. I'm going to give you a 5-second head start on the run. So then when we see them in the sequel and he's gotten, the team has been working together. They've created this way of releasing the Hulk and bringing him back in that is heavily reliant on his relationship with Natasha, which is actually, here's a vocabulary word for you boys and girls, it's behavioral contracting. It's actually a skill that can be used and learned. Basically, Natasha has established a behavioral contract with Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk. And as long as she maintains her composure and her tone and does everything the way she's supposed to do, it is a mutually beneficial relationship. Is it a romantic relationship? No, but there is a relationship being built there. Also, they decided to give Barton a family, so we had to give her something.
Maybe I'm just biased because I think Captain America and Black Widow are the better couple, but that's
Yep.
just me. Anyway, go ahead, Colin.
Peggy Carter, for the win.
I was going to point out that one, in terms of other spy-like characters that could have sent, that would have been Barton, Hawkeye, and let's be honest, Hawkeye, he can't drop Banner before he turns, okay? And he will get broken in half.
Also, Hawkeye was brainwashed by Loki, so they couldn't really send him out anyway.
He'd been compromised.
But also, he hadn't really been introduced as Hawkeye to the audience yet, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, Coulson wasn't going to make that call.
No.
Second, the best part of that scene was when he agrees and she goes, okay, you can stand down now.
Yeah.
That, knowing that they were ready with guns if he said no.
That is what we call Plan B.
Yeah.
And then, third, I just wanted to bring this up from the helicarrier. One of the lines that a lot of people just glance over is after things go bad, we're flying blind. Is it, put us over the water. We're flying blind here, sir. Is the sun coming up?
Then put it on the left.
That man is playing Galaga.
Thought we wouldn't notice.
But
we
But we
did.
did.
All right. I think unless someone else wants to say anything about the Hulk, I think we can move on.
Yep.
All right.
On to Thor Odinson,
The God of Thunder.
the second born of Freya.
Now, obviously, Marvel did not create Thor. He's from Norse mythology, but this is Marvel Comics version of Thor.
Played by...
Chris Hemsworth. He was initially created by Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, and Larry Lieber. He first appeared in Journey to Mystery number 83 in 1962. However, fun fact, Jack Kirby also adapted Thor for DC Comics in 1942, 44, and 1957. So he had a habit of doing Thor for a while. And also, fun fact, Sam Raimi, who developed the Spider-Man trilogy, developed a concept for a film based off of Thor in 1991, but they abandoned the project.
Okay.
So it would have been very interesting to see a 1990 version of Thor.
Okay, so that leads us to a question. The 1990s. Who would have played Thor? Ugh.
I'm gonna go on a limb here and say Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No. It would have been Brad Pitt. It would have been Brad Pitt. Right after Thelma and Louise, Brad Pitt. For the people listening, right after Thelma and Louise, Brad Pitt, when he still had the long hair, but he was still kind of an unknown in Hollywood, and he was affordable.
Yeah.
And all he was a blonde guy with a pretty face.
Maybe. Or Tom Cruise.
No, Tom Cruise would not have been a choice. Or Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer would have been a good Thor.
Val Kilmer could have been Thor.
Anyway, moving on to Thor 1.
So the Thor film in the MCU was actually the fourth film in the MCU in order, in Phase 1, and was released in 2011. So in the movie, hundreds of years ago, Odin, king of Asgard, played by Anthony Hopkins, fights off the frost giants of Jotunheim and brings a relative peace to the Nine Realms. However, years later, his son Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth, plans to ascend the throne, but after causing another conflict with the frost giants, along with the Warriors 3 and his brother Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston, causes Odin to banish Thor to Earth, where he bumps into Dr. Jane Foster, played by Natalie Portman, and her team of physicists, along with Kat Dennings. In his absence on Asgard, Loki attempts to become the next in line to the throne. However, Odin reveals to him that he is not Asgardian blood. He is actually a frost giant. In his rage, Loki attempts to steal the throne of Asgard for himself by overthrowing Odin and killing Thor.
Like one does.
So...
Yeah, that's how you know they're real siblings.
So, honestly, I was kind of disappointed by the first Thor movie.
Honestly, the two best lines are, one said by Hawkeye, "Are you going to give me an order? Because I'm starting to root for this guy." And line said by Kat Dennings, or said towards Kat Dennings, "She hit him with her car." Yes, I did.
Yeah. I will say, though, the CGI, especially on Asgard and the Destroyer and everything, still really hold up. Asgard looks amazing.
It does.
The Bifrost and Jotunheim and everything, they look amazing.
Idris Elba playing Heimdall is chef's kiss.
Anthony Hopkins also plays Odin really good.
Chef's kiss.
Chris Hemsworth obviously plays a great Thor. And then the MVP award for Tom Hiddleston as Loki.
So, I think this is a great example. This is a great example of... So, because, fun fact is that Tom Hiddleston did audition for Thor.
Yes, he did.
Which, the confidence level there, I think, actually, the funniest factor about who auditioned for Thor for me is that Chris Hemsworth auditioned, and so did his two brothers. All three Hemsworth brothers auditioned for Thor.
And they made cameos in other Thor movies.
All but one of them.
All but one of them, yeah.
Yeah. Which begs the question, what did Liam do that he didn't get invited to be in a Marvel movie? Because in one of the later films, literally Chris Hemsworth brought in everybody in his family. He was like, my wife, my son, my daughter, my older brother, everybody. Also,
fun fact, while filming Thor, obviously Chris Hemsworth had to become super jacked for the movie. He became so jacked that he couldn't fit in the costume and tore it on several occasions.
But what I was going to say is, Tom Hiddleston as Loki is just so good.
He is Loki.
He is Loki, but he is so this is a rare occurrence in the Marvel Cinematic Universe of a villain that we love.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually
sticks around.
And eventually he does get his redemption arc over time, and he becomes more of an anti-hero, or just really antagonistic. He's Thor's little brother. Yes, he's adopted. But it's classic younger... No offense, Colin. It's classic younger sibling behavior. Yeah. Yes, Colin has never tried to kill me for the throne, but if we had one, I'm sure it would be on the to-do list.
Yes. He just plays them with such gravitas.
It's one of those things where it's like, Thor was not in Avengers Civil War.
No.
Okay? Did anyone care?
Not really.
No.
Okay, but Loki doesn't show up in one Thor movie and the whole internet loses its mind.
Yep.
Okay?
Especially, well, we know why, but it doesn't feel good, okay?
No.
It just
Because
feels weird.
this character we've gotten to know through all these movies, and we know he's still technically around because of the TV show.
Yes, but at that time we didn't know that because the TV show hadn't come out yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's literally, it's like, I sometimes feel like when the Marvel franchise people and Kevin Feige want to just rile up the internet, they'll just post something with Tom Hiddleston just for fun on the internet, like Tom Hiddleston seen having lunch with Kevin Feige, or Tom Hiddleston seen talking to another member of the Avengers. What does this mean? And the internet loses its mind for 3 weeks.
And I bring up, again, big difference between the DC Universe and Marvel, at least when it comes to movies. DC, the villains come back. Marvel, the villains don't. They die, except for Loki.
Unless you build them up over the course of a phase of a franchise like Thanos.
The only two who didn't outright die were Loki and Thanos. And both of them did die.
But, going off that, I just had this thought. So, and part of the reason why everyone loves Loki is because, yes, Loki is technically the bad guy. But just because he's a bad guy doesn't mean he's a bad guy, okay? No, he's funny. I mean, come on. Older sibling pulls you to the side and says, listen. And then he gets knocked out by something, and the younger sibling just stands there and goes, I'm listening.
Or in Thor, what was the second? Thor Dark World, which no one really
That was
enjoyed.
not a good one.
But Loki's still there, making us laugh by turning into Captain America and making...
And kissing Jane Foster, and Jane Foster just slapping him, being like, okay, yeah, I see, too far.
Or in Thor Ragnarok, where Thor first arrives on Sakaar, and the Grandmaster meets him, and Loki's in the audience, and he's like, Loki, get me out of here. I have no idea who this man is.
No. I have been falling for 30 minutes!
Or, let's do get help. I don't want to do get help. Anyway.
You love it. I hate it. No. You had one job. Just the one.
Yeah. So, Loki is, besides Thanos,
He's the comic relief.
He's comic relief, but he also has the gravitas of a Shakespearean villain.
Which is so great.
And I can't help but ask, would Loki have really been that bad as a king? Because when we see him actively ruling over Asgard, what does he do?
He's having theater.
He just has people put on plays for him. Is he waging war against the Nine Realms? No.
The Nine Realms are kind of doing that to themselves.
He doesn't really care.
Yeah. But obviously Loki is the best part of this
He is
movie.
the breakaway. He's the breakaway star, and maybe he will get his own episode.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, hopefully,
Maybe.
fingers crossed.
Maybe when we do the MCU pantheon of villains, we could talk about Loki.
He's an S tier. I can already tell you that one.
But
he's at the top.
But honestly, though, the first Thor movie set up a lot, but ultimately was disappointing.
And it was the
overall.
first movie we saw Hawkeye in.
Yes, it was. But Loki was a great bright spot. But it did set up Thor's story. However, in the Dark World, on the other hand, this one kind of fell into the same realm as Iron Man 2. Except it fell down even further than that.
It was nice seeing Eric Selvig again.
Yeah.
It was not nice seeing Jane Foster again.
No.
So in Thor the Dark World, again, it starts with a flashback. Thousands of years ago, Bor,
Are we seeing a theme?
the father of Odin...
They lived for thousands of years. What do you want? Them to have a flashback to last Tuesday and what they ate?
Bor, father of Odin, who is also father of Thor, wages war against the dark elf Malekith, who seeks to unleash a weapon known as the Ether on the Nine Realms. Bor defeats the dark elves, but Malekith escapes. Years later, in the present, Jane Foster is transported to a world where the Ether is absorbed into her. So she has essentially become the Ether. This causes Thor to return and bring foster Jane to Asgard, but at the same time, Malekith awakens, attacks Asgard, and unfortunately kills Thor's mom in the process while looking for Jane. Thor then asks Loki for his help, and the two of them must reunite to defeat Malekith.
The best part of the movie is Kat Denning trying to say Mjolnir. Mjolnir! That is the best part of the movie.
Yep.
That, and I really liked
I just saved you 2 hours of your life. If you have not watched that movie, you don't need to.
Yeah.
There is a bit of fun with the convergence that's called coming, and you see the kids messing with space overlapping, which is kind of cool. But this is something more for a TV show.
Yeah.
Marvel. This is like, let's talk about what can be a TV show and what can be a movie, okay?
Now, Ether is the main plot point of the movie, but it is revealed to be the Reality Stone in the Infinity Gauntlet.
Because if you didn't know, for Phase 1, we're collecting Infinity Stones.
Yeah, well, that's just Phase 2.
Well, we start the process.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Ether is the big plot point, but in all honesty, though, Thor the Dark World, like we talked about in Iron Man 2, it suffers from trying to do too much.
Yeah. It suffered the curse of the sequel.
Yeah. And arguably, it is one of the worst films in the MCU, at least in my opinion.
No argument here.
And me sitting there at the beginning wondering, Heimdall sees everything. How does this low-quality, invisible tech get past his all-seeing sight? Enough for it to pass by his guard station and then go, wait a minute.
Plot convenience. Alright, let's move on to...
Maybe that's when his son was born. Who knows?
He is...
Yeah, he has a son. We'll talk about this later.
I got distracted. Well, great for you. The queen is dead.
Yes.
That was the sad part.
Yes, it was sad because we killed the queen, but you get to see a really raw moment for Loki there.
Yeah.
Because Loki has learned the art of shapeshift and sorcery from his mother, granted adopted mother, but whereas Odin took Thor under his wing, Frigga took Loki under hers. And when she dies, he drops the facade. And you see him defeated and upset and bloodied and just really sad. And it's like, oh, he's just a little emo teen who wants his mom.
Well, he also feels really, really extremely guilty because
it was his fault.
Because when the Dark Elves first invade, they go to the prison, and Loki tells them the royal chambers are that way. But he doesn't know that Frigga's up there, so he inadvertently caused his own mother's death.
Yeah.
Also, just gonna say, killed 50 people in 2 days.
He's adopted.
He's adopted. So yeah, this one actually kind of...
Please note, we are not saying that adoption is a reason to kill people. It is not.
So this film actually does, again, Loki being the only bright spot, kind of shows Loki's not necessarily full turn, but slow turn to becoming a full-fledged anti-hero.
Yeah.
Because, we start to see him mourn the loss of Frigga and team up with Thor to defeat against a common enemy.
Not a bad guy, just a bad guy.
And, like he did in Thor 1, he fakes his death again.
Yes. But...
when it works for you, it works.
But instead, he fakes his death to pretend he's Odin. Dun, dun, dun!
And then just sends Odin to go live on Earth.
Yep.
Doesn't even try to kill him.
He at least puts him in Norway.
Okay.
Well, no. Well, yeah.
In Thor Ragnarok, will we find all the stuff that Odin's done?
Shady Acres.
Yeah, and it gets torn down.
About all the things that Odin's done in the past to the Nine Realms, conquering them, and then trying to play the benevolent ruler and sending his eldest daughter to wherever she got sent to. But doing all that, he's not a great father. And you'd expect, for what he did, I'm just going to send him to live on Earth.
Shady Acres retirement home.
So,
But here is the lesson, boys and girls. Herein lies the lesson. The victor writes the history book.
So, with all that being said, let's move on to Thor Ragnarok. So, we kind of pointed out several plot points already, but after the Battle of Sokovia, Thor is imprisoned by the fire demon Surtur, who is revealed that Odin is no longer on Asgard. It is revealed that Odin is not Odin, but Loki in disguise.
It's a crown.
Which, how did Surtur find that out?
He's an all-powerful deity. Who knows? After finding the real Odin at Shady Acres retirement home, and then in Norway.
I was like, he's not at the retirement home because it's getting torn down.
Odin passes away, but with his death, Loki and Thor's long-lost sister, Hela, goddess of death, played by Cate Blanchett, reveals herself. However, in their escape attempt, Thor and Loki are transported to the planet Sakaar, where the Grand Master, played by Jeff Goldblum, puts Thor against their champion, the Hulk. Along the way, they meet another Asgardian Valkyrie, played by Tessa Thompson, who is another fighter on Sakaar. So now Thor, Hulk, Valkyrie, and Loki must team up once again to fight against Hela and save Asgard or bring on Ragnarok.
Are you sure Valkyrie's her name? I thought she was just a Valkyrie.
Well,
She's a Valkyrie, but they call her Valkyrie.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So Valkyrie was a member of the Valkyrie, which is an all-female team
Of warriors
from Asgard who were sent to fight against Hela at one point, but unfortunately,
she killed them all
except for one. And this is why Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie ends up on Sakaar, and she is essentially a functioning alcoholic to deal with all that loss.
First off, Cate Blanchett playing Hela. Chef's kiss.
Yes.
Okay.
Also,
now,
Lord of the Rings. Hello again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Lord of the Rings. Hi. How you doing? She is just so good at being bad.
She
And
is.
the thing is like when she comes forth and you hear her story and you hear everything about it. She's one of those villains that you listen to and you're like, you know what? I can see the validity in your argument.
You got a point.
You have some valid points here. Some really valid points. But also, can we talk about probably her best scene? Like, okay, there's a question. What is Hela's best scene? There's so many, but which is the best?
My favorite is, so when the first Thor movie came out, we saw Odin's treasure room. And a lot of the trinkets that he had were supposedly teasing future Marvel movies, and one of them was the Infinity Gauntlet.
Fake.
Yep. Hela just fake, toss, and then knocks it over.
And her line is, most of this stuff is fake.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Or weak. And then she passes the Tesseract and goes, that's not bad.
And then she goes to the crown of Surtur.
now, there is one thing that's always bugged me about that. Now, the reason you know it's fake is because the gauntlet's on the wrong hand.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But saying, oh, it's fake, so there's a real one. The real one is where?
Doesn't exist yet.
But no, the real one does exist because there's a fake made to look like it. But then they have the one made by the dwarf in
Infinity War.
Infinity War. So we know that one is new. That's not the original. So where is the OG?
Yeah. I think my favorite is when she's standing before the Asgardian guards for the first time.
Yeah.
And she's been outcast for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Okay? But the camera's tight on her face. She has this look of total indifference and just, it's come to my attention that you don't know who I am. And she just starts talking about who she is and just the self-presentation. I mean,
And she takes the time to explain to all of them who she is, where she's been, why she hasn't been there.
why she has the rightful claim to the throne.
And then they say, whoever you are.
Yeah.
Did you not see?
Whoever I am. Were you not listening?
Yep. And then also...
But that's one of her brother's friends. Oh, no. Even better line. When she meets her brothers for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
And
look like him.
You don't look like...
sound like him.
Perhaps an arrangement. You sound like him. Which, the thing is the fact that we know Loki is adopted.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that Loki and Hela have black hair and Thor's the blonde, it really makes you question who is the adopted child here.
Now, I don't remember if we saw in a flashback what color hair Odin had.
It was white.
I think they've
blonde.
always showed him as an old guy, even in the past. But if they were both blonde, Hela having black hair would be very weird.
Also,
Not impossible, just genetically improbable.
Granted, magic.
yep. Also, what an entrance for Hela to when Thor throws Mjolnir at her and she crushes it.
Yeah.
And she's not even at her most powerful. She just got out.
I think one of the things that makes Hela, at least this is my opinion, of why I loved Hela so much, other than the fact that Cate Blanchett just did an amazing job, is that she is a great personification of an older sibling who is just done with the nonsense. And is like, you know what? I am too old, and no, we're not doing this. Stop.
Also, Hela has a puppy.
Yes.
Fenrir.
Now, granted, in mythology, Hela and Fenrir are both children of Loki.
Yes.
So,
but
that's not what we're talking about.
yeah. And then also, like we talked about for the Hulk, Sakaar is great. And this is actually when Thor became fun.
Yes, Thor got a sense of humor.
This one obviously was, this was directed by Taika Waititi, who actually voices one of the characters named Korg.
This place is like a circle, but not like a real circle, like a freaky circle.
Yeah, he voices the giant rock alien in Thor Ragnarok.
He is also a breakaway character that has a ton of very quotable lines.
Yeah. He's like, be gone, ghost!
Tried to start a rebellion, but I didn't print enough pamphlets, so I had to move with my mom and her boyfriend, who I hate.
When you realize it's all a paper defeats rock.
Yeah.
Yep.
Guys, there's still someone's blood on this. Could we clean the weapons?
Yep. So, and then obviously it was Thor. Thor said Thor has a sense of humor, but it does not hold back on the revelations. Like we talked to Colin and you guys mentioned that it is revealed that Odin and Hela essentially pillaged the 9 realms to essentially furnish Asgard.
Which answers the question of why are we keeping the piece of the night? Why do we care? We're just one of the 9 realms.
Because we're the ones that caused everything.
But now that we know, so that they basically kicked everyone over and said, okay, you're going to behave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although in this
Now
movie,
makes more sense.
and then another breakout character was, I'm blanking on his name, but Carl Urban.
Also Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
And Star Trek.
And Star Trek.
Scourge. They fought
Scourge.
together on Vanaheim.
Scourge, yeah. He's got the 2 M16s.
They call him Des and Troy.
Destroy.
Together, they destroy. His character is the king of bad puns.
Yeah. And
I'm just the janitor.
Yeah, I'm just the janitor.
Like,
His first interaction with Hela is she just slaughters somebody in front of him, and he's like, I'm just the janitor. And she goes, you look like a smart boy with good survival instincts.
Yep.
How would you like a job?
and then he actually does fight back against Hela, so but this one is definitely not only a step in the right direction, but
also had the best soundtrack.
Best soundtrack, which the immigrant song when Thor realizes he is, what are you the god of again?
Yeah.
Is a great moment.
And honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, why weren't we using that before?
Because Guardians of the Galaxy hasn't happened yet.
and it is great to see him summon lightning without Mjolnir.
Yeah.
And you realize, Mjolnir's basically
Just a
been
tool.
just a training.
It's a training wheel.
Yeah.
Which is a great segue because I have a problem with the last Thor movie and the weaponry choices, but we'll get to that as we get to the end of this story. But let's talk about the next installment of the franchise. Still funny, not as good as Ragnarok, but it's in my top 2 for Thor movies. Thor, Love and Thunder.
So Thor Love and Thunder is the 4th in the Thor franchise, and I think they are going to make a 5th. They have been talks about making a 5th, but nothing's been confirmed yet. So after the events of Avengers Endgame, Thor is... he needs some R&R.
He's so lonely. He
So-
has nobody all on his own.
So he teams up with the Guardians of the Galaxy to restore his body and mental state back to its former glory. However, after one of their missions, he gets a distress signal from Sif,
The Warriors 3.
a female warrior from Asgard, that an individual named Gore, played by Christian Bale, holds a very powerful weapon called the Necro Sword and is on a god-killing rampage. At the same time, Dr. Jane Foster, who is diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, is called out by Mjolnir, which was broken in Thor Ragnarok. However, it reforges itself to Jane, and Jane becomes a version of Thor.
She becomes Lady Thor.
So Thor, Jane, along with Valkyrie, Korg, and others, go to Omnipotent City, a city where all gods of all mythologies meet together, and they have to warn them and or summon an army to fight against Gore.
I did not see the flying spaghetti monster present at the council. Okay.
No, but they did have the God of Bow. Bow.
Fair enough.
And in Omnipotent City, they meet the main god, Zeus.
He is not the main god. He is the leader of Omnipotent City.
Fine. The leader of Omnipotent City, Zeus, played by Russell Crowe. However, he is less than helpful.
That's a nice way of putting it.
That's a nice way of describing gods in this series.
Less than
Altogether.
helpful.
Yep. So, but while they're there, it is revealed that Gore plans to visit the realm of eternity, which is the being of the entire universe, where he'll be granted one wish to destroy all gods.
Okay.
So the party must defeat it.
Okay, just gonna correct you for a minute. Eternity is a celestial, but whereas, what is Star-Lord's dad's name?
Ego.
Whereas Ego is celestial with a little g, Eternity is a celestial with a big G.
Actually, he's even bigger than that. So
I said big G.
He's the embodiment of the universe.
there's eternity, infinity.
The one above all.
The one who's above them. The one above all. The living tribunal.
Death.
And
the Watcher.
Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, he's not just a
living tribunal might be DC.
Anywho,
Anyway.
Overlap. Anyway.
So, Thor: Love and Thunder.
also a good soundtrack.
So this one kind of deals with Thor's PTSD left over from Avengers Endgame, which is a nice part to have. However, whereas Thor Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok was funny, but it was also very action-packed and had a good story. Thor: Love and Thunder dabbles a little too much with the silly.
Now, before we get any further, I think it is important to explain why is Gore the God Butcher.
So Gore,
why is he on this mission?
So Gore became the God Butcher because he was on a planet where there was a severe drought and all of his people have died except for him and his daughter. They're searching for food for many days. However, his daughter passed away. And then after his daughter passes away, he finds an oasis where his god lives. I can't recall his god's name.
He's a sun god.
However, when he asks for help, that god essentially laughs in his face and essentially is like, we don't care about you, go away. So then the Necrosword calls out to him, and in his rage, he kills that god with the Necrosword and becomes the God Butcher.
So my point here being is that Gore's whole mission statement is based on grief.
Yes. And I mean, he's not wrong. I mean,
No.
when the person that you pray to for prosperity essentially gives you nothing but drought and death while feeding his own face, and then he essentially laughs in your face when he's like, why couldn't you help? It's kind of understandable why he goes on that path.
Yep.
So yeah, it is two people both on different journeys of grief.
Yeah, you're seeing two sides to grief.
Yeah. You're seeing Thor's side, because he's still dealing with, he
lost his father, his mother, his brother, his friends,
his planet,
his planet, his people, his brother again,
and then he still felt guilty for
his sister,
for the events of Infinity War because he wasn't able to kill Thanos when Thanos did the snap.
Because he didn't go for the head.
Yep. So, yeah, Thor's dealing with a lot.
Yeah. And one could argue that, to an extent, Jane is also dealing with her own issues of grief.
Yeah.
Because she's dying of cancer.
Can we talk about, real quick, the ridiculousness of radiation in the Marvel Universe? You either turn into a green rage monster, or you get cancer.
Well, it's kind of foreshadowed that in the story...
I would have preferred Jane become a green rage monster.
Hey, Colin, think of the movie Sky High. The kids who fall into a vat of chemicals or exposed to radiation, their powers usually show up the next day. Or they die.
Well, it's kind of foreshadowed that this is not from anything. It's hereditary. She got this cancer because it's hereditary.
But being exposed to the ether probably did not help.
No.
Especially because I think it's outright shown with Malekith that using the ether in its raw form will kill you.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, the fact that, when she becomes Lady Thor, we find out in the course of the movie that every time she becomes Thor, it's taking away her life force.
Yeah.
She can't fight the cancer anymore.
Like, the first scene we see her in, she's going through chemotherapy. And, Valkyrie says that every time she transforms into Thor, essentially it erases the chemo and her body's still fighting the cancer.
Because, unfortunately, for those of you who didn't know, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, it's poison that you're willingly putting into your body to combat the cancer. High risk, high reward type thing. Yeah. But if you're becoming an Asgardian god, that's going to kick the chemo right out.
Yeah. It is actually kind of funny seeing Thor meet Lady Thor for the first time, and he's just like, who is this new Thor? Because he
doesn't recognize her at first.
Doesn't recognize her, and he's kind of miffed that Mjolnir chose this new Thor instead of him.
Yes, because he now has Stormbreaker.
But he still feels called to Mjolnir for some reason.
It's his blankie.
It's his comfort hammer.
It's his blankie.
First.
Yes, which is why Hela was able to destroy it.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, his relationship with Mjolnir is that of a blankie. Yeah. It's his blankie.
But I will say, Mjolnir coming back kind of erases what Hela did.
Not really, though.
I mean, okay, why do you think that?
Well, the big thing was, Hela shows up and without being, empowered by Asgard, she destroys it like a toy.
Well,
and
it's
been in a very powerful artifact this entire time. And we think, okay, it's gone forever.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. But you know who is gone forever? Loki! Loki's gone forever, but that stupid hammer is back.
But the thing is when we see the hammer, it became kind of like a sword and stone thing. The pieces couldn't be lifted, just like Mjolnir couldn't be lifted except by somebody who was worthy to yield it. The pieces couldn't be lifted.
Yeah.
So the thing there, the highlight there is not just that, Mjolnir didn't pick Jane just willy-nilly because it's like, oh, hey, look, it's my former master's girlfriend. I like you. No, it was like, you are worthy to be Thor.
Yeah.
Especially because at that point, Thor's not really worthy to be Thor at some points because of all of his self-doubt and his grief. But Mjolnir picks who is worthy, which answers the question. Because there's a whole thing at the end of Age of Ultron, if you put it on an elevator, the elevator's not worthy.
Yeah. And all the Avengers try to lift Mjolnir, and the only one that comes close is Cap, and Thor is just like, what?
Yeah.
And then cut to Endgame. I knew it!
Yes.
Yep.
But so when he sees Lady Thor for the first time, she is wielding his hammer. She's wearing a female version of his outfit. And
Which is why he overcompensates with that illustrious
outfit.
outfit.
And she is kicking butt and taking names, and he's standing there because he's a little late to the party.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what happened here? And Valkyrie's like, oh, that's the new guy. You're going to like the new guy.
Yeah.
Because Valkyrie does not know that that's his former girlfriend. Or at least I don't think she knows.
I think she knows.
And then when Jane turns, and he's like, Jane?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, there's for girls listening out there, we've all heard of the revenge dress. This is the revenge superhero makeover.
Yeah.
Also, let's be honest. Did we expect Jane to make a comeback to the movies after Dark World? Did anyone really want to see anyone from the Dark World?
No.
Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Anthony Hopkins.
Loki. That's what I wanted to see.
But it is kind of, you know, Thor and Jane actually do have a really nice scene where you know, Thor learns of her cancer diagnosis and what she's been doing with the hammer, and he's like, you have to stop because this is killing you and it's killing me to watch it kill you. So
Because he still loves her.
So it's like, survive so that we can have many more years together. But she's like, I want to have one last adventure, which is both two sides of the same coin. And ultimately, Thor, you know, Jane does wield Mjolnir again to fight Gore at the home of eternity.
And to save the children of Asgard.
Which, by the way, that is a great scene where so Gore kidnaps the children of New Asgard.
Which a handful of them are Asgardian, but a lot of them are refugees from other places, like Sakaar.
Yes. And Thor, you know, because he doesn't have Stormbreaker, because Gore actually steals it, and so, but he has Zeus's lightning bolt, and in order to help him, he actually Thor casts a spell to give all the children the power of Thor
Temporarily.
And,
he does make sure to include that. Temporarily.
And all the children go out.
They are absolutely feral. My personal favorite is this little girl with super curly hair, and she has a bunny. Her stuffed bunny that she has been carrying with her since she was kidnapped from her home, and she just starts screaming, and lightning is coming out of the eyes of the bunny.
Yep.
It's like, if you ever want to see the true terrifying nature of a toddler, right there.
Yeah.
It's right there. This is also where we learned that Heimdall had a son.
When did he have time to do that? I don't know.
Whose name is Axel.
Because he is a really big fan of Guns N' Roses, apparently.
Even though apparently his father named him Astrid, but he goes by Axel.
And we never meet his mom.
It's beside the point.
Now, speaking of Zeus's lightning bolt, Zeus was very, very, very disappointing in terms of a character. He was played way too silly. He should have been like a father figure to Thor, but he was just like a prissy little...
Are you kidding me? The Greeks hate the Norse.
Yeah. I saw him as more of like they were making fun of him as like a drunken Greek uncle.
Great. It's you.
But like, there is actually a deleted scene where Thor and Zeus are actually having a pretty decent heart-to-heart, and that's when Zeus gives him his lightning bolt instead of him just taking it.
So, Thor, Lady Thor, and the kids of Asgard make it through the battle, yay!
Yep.
But we get to eternity, the wish is made, Jane dies, But
Jane goes to Valhalla.
Jane goes to Valhalla because she died a warrior.
Cancer is a fight.
She died a warrior. She died a warrior's death. But more importantly here is that Gore makes the choice to, instead of killing all the gods, he gives life back to his child.
Yeah, he wishes for his daughter to come back to life.
And then he dies because just like Mjolnir is killing Jane, the Necrosword is killing Gore.
Yes.
And so Thor now has a daughter. Hilarity ensues, which is actually played by Chris Hemsworth's actual daughter.
Yes.
Which is a great scene at the end of that movie. But here is my issue. And okay? So we have established that Mjolnir is like a training wheel weapon, okay? You give the training wheel weapon to the less experienced fighter, okay?
And you have Stormbreaker.
And you have Stormbreaker, which is a weapon for a god.
It's a weapon for a king.
It's a weapon for a king. Thor, in his infinite stupidity, takes Mjolnir back because it's his blankie, okay? And gives Stormbreaker to the newly revived 7 or 8 year old girl who is a physical embodiment of eternity and can zap lasers out of her eyes.
She's essentially a mini god.
With the temper of a 7-year-old. And you're going to give her the king weapon? No. Swap that, give her the training wheels weapon. Because that is just a recipe for disaster. That is my only problem with how that story ended. That's it. That's my one problem. Thor should have given her Mjolnir. He keeps Stormbreaker. The world goes on, but no. Let's give the 7-year-old who's probably got anger issues the weapon that could kill everyone. That's great.
I just can't wait for maybe they'll have this in Avengers Doomsday or another Avengers movie where Thor and his daughter meet all the rest of the Avengers, and the Avengers are like, wait,
when do you get a
kid?
They're like, okay, hold on, doing math here. Okay, she's about 7-ish. Okay, that would put this.
When did you get a kid, Thor?
Excuse me.
Is she
What are those?
Is she Asgardian? Is she half Asgardian?
I
What
don't
does
think I
that
like
put
hand
her
flaps.
age?
So, okay, now that we talked about all 4 of the Thor movies, what is your ranking of the Thor movies?
I'll let you go first.
Okay, Dark World is dead last.
Obviously.
That's obvious.
Okay.
I'll say I'm going to say 2, 1, 3, 4.
Going up.
Sorry.
So 4 at the top.
No, hold on. 2, 3 is best.
Okay.
Okay, Ragnarok.
1,
Okay.
4.
4, and then 2. Sorry.
I go 3, 4, 1, 2.
Okay.
I'm at the same thing with Tori. It's 3, 4, 2, 1, 2.
We can all agree 2 is the worst.
Yeah, because while
But
Thor,
if you would like to fight us in the comments about that, leave a comment.
yes, while Thor: Love and Thunder is still really, really good, it was also directed by Taika Waititi. It still leans a lot more into the silliness than it needed to be. I mean, the fact that the screaming goats have a big part of the story, it's just like, okay, this is totally stupid.
I mean, that's straight from mythology. Doesn't he ride a chariot?
Yeah, he
pulled
rides
by
a chariot
goats?
of goats, but the fact that they just have nothing other than just...
Granted, Frigga rides a chariot pulled by cats.
Yes.
We didn't get to see that.
No, we
Marvel.
No.
But I saw in your notes, Justin, and you haven't mentioned him yet, but he's here. He's there. He's everywhere. Roy Kent.
Oh, yeah.
Roy Kent.
So, in the mid-credits scene for Thor: Love and Thunder, so in order to get Zeus's lightning bolt, Thor fights Zeus, gets his thunderbolt, and runs. We see Zeus recovering, and in his anger, he sends his son, Loki, who is played by Roy Kent from...
You mean Hercules?
What did I say?
Loki?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That would be a twist.
Sorry.
Plot twist!
Zeus sends his son, Hercules, played by Roy
Also,
Kent,
technically Heracles. But
Also known
as
as.
Brett Goldstein, to fight Thor.
Yes.
However, that mid-credit scene has gone nowhere.
Yeah, not yet anyway. There's
Not
been
yet.
rumors, but nothing has been confirmed. Shout out that way, because that opens up a whole nother fandom that we haven't mentioned on the show before. If you are looking for a really good family-friendly show to watch that minorly involves a sport, Ted Lasso.
Yes. It is streaming on Apple TV.
And it's getting ready for its spin-off series / season 4.
Yes.
But it's pretty good, I would say. It's very good.
It's not really... Well, there's some language in it.
There's some language, but there's
the overall tone of the show is very family friendly.
Also, I do feel like if you haven't seen it, in which case, why are you listening this far into our ranting? But if you have not seen Thor: Love and Thunder, there is a shot where you see Chris Hemsworth's behind.
Yes.
So if you do not want your children to see Chris Hemsworth's butt, either skip that scene or just don't let them watch that part.
But he does honor all the fallen Avengers with tattoos.
Yes, he has a very beautifully laid out tattoo on his back.
My big problem with the third one, the fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, with the fourth one and why I rank it third, is because we're fighting against Gore, which is great. He has a great backstory.
The God Butcher.
That.
Yeah, he's a great villain.
Great backstory, great title, love it. But it drags.
It does.
It drags a lot. And another problem is I root for him too much. Because they're like, we have to stop him from killing all the gods. And like, okay, so aside from you, who's actually trying to do something, none of the other gods in all of Omnipotent City are doing anything. I'm kind of with Gore on this. They are pointless.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to go the whole killing them is the answer, but are they pointless? Yes.
All right. So I think we talked about Thor and the Hulk pretty much. Thank you guys for tuning in. Next week, we will be talking about the last two of the main Avengers, Hawkeye and Black Widow.
Of which only one of them has a movie.
And the other one has a TV show. So we'll be talking about that.
And they both have secret lives, and they're both best friends.
Yes.
You have a family?
Yes. You and I remember Budapest very differently. All right, so we'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.